Why does your car feel sluggish, burn more fuel than it should, and sometimes hesitate during acceleration, yet your check engine light stays off? There's a single sensor smaller than your finger that's probably covered in dirt right now, sending false data to your engine computer and quietly destroying your fuel economy. This sensor fails more often than any other component in modern vehicles, yet almost nobody cleans it because they don't even know it exists. Today I'm revealing which sensor causes the most performance problems, why it gets dirty so fast, and how cleaning it in just 10 minutes can completely transform how your engine runs. Let's get into it. The sensor I'm talking about is the mass airflow sensor, commonly called the MAF sensor. This component sits between your air filter and throttle body, and its job is measuring every gram of air entering your engine with extreme precision. Most vehicles use a hot wire MAF sensor, which maintains a heated wire 200 degrees Fahrenheit above ambient air temperature. As air flows across this ultra-thin platinum wire, it cools the wire proportionally to airflow speed. The AQ measures how much electrical current is required to keep that wire at constant temperature, and that current value tells the computer exactly how much air is entering the engine. Here's where problems start. Over time, particle accumulation from microscopic dust, oil vapor from oiled aftermarket air filters, or general environmental contaminants coat that delicate wire, resulting in poor sensor performance. Once contaminated, the thermal behavior of the wire changes and the data sent to your engine computer becomes inaccurate. The AQ now believes more or less air is entering than reality, so it responds by delivering the wrong amount of fuel. This creates a cascade of performance problems that most drivers don't connect to a dirty sensor. The symptoms are frustrating because they're intermittent and hard to diagnose. A bad MAF sensor can cause poor drivability issues such as engine stalling, jerking or hesitation during acceleration, which could happen while speeding up on the highway or cruising down a city street. You'll notice fuel economy dropping for no obvious reason. Your engine might idle rough when sitting at stoplights. In severe cases, the vehicle stalls when coming to a stop or struggles to maintain consistent speed. Black smoke from the exhaust indicates the engine is running rich, while lean conditions cause rough running and potential engine damage. Here's what makes this particularly dangerous. A faulty mass airflow sensor is a common reason why a check engine light comes on, but dirty MAF sensors often cause problems before triggering any warning lights. You can drive for months experiencing reduced power and wasting fuel without any dashboard alert. By the time the check engine light finally appears, you've already burned hundreds of extra dollars in wasted gasoline and put unnecessary stress on your engine. Diagnostic data shows something surprising. Nearly 40% of vehicles diagnosed with rich or lean fuel mixture trouble codes don't have failed MAF sensors, they have dirty ones. The sensor is functioning electronically, it's just coated with contamination that's altering its readings. This is why mechanics see so many unnecessary MAF sensor replacements. Customers spend $150 to $300 for new sensors when a $10 can of MAF cleaner would have solved the problem. Let me give you real-world examples of how dramatic the improvement can be. Customer brought in a Toyota Camry with hesitation during acceleration and fuel economy that had dropped from 32 miles per gallon to 27. No check engine light, no obvious problems, just gradual performance degradation over months. We removed the MAF sensor and the hot wire was visibly coated with brownish film. 10 minutes of careful cleaning with proper MAF sensor cleaner, and the car drove like new. Fuel economy returned to 31 miles per gallon within 2 tanks. The customer had been ready to spend $800 on a tune-up, spark plugs, and injector cleaning. The actual problem cost less than $15 to fix. Another example, a Honda Accord that would randomly stall when coming to stops. The owner had already replaced the fuel pump thinking it was fuel delivery. Still having problems. The mass airflow sensor hot wire was so contaminated it looked like it had been dipped in oil. After cleaning, the stalling completely disappeared. That's a $600 fuel pump replacement that was completely unnecessary because nobody checked the MAF sensor first. So why does the MAF sensor get dirty faster than other sensors? Location is the primary reason. It sits directly in the airflow path after the air filter, which means it's constantly exposed to whatever makes it past that filter. Even high-quality air filters aren't 100% efficient. Microscopic particles still pass through, and over tens of thousands of miles, those particles accumulate on the hot wire. If you do not have someone clean and repair it, it will eventually break, and a dirty filter is one of the more common reasons for this. Oiled aftermarket air filters make contamination worse. Products like K and AMP-N filters use oil to trap particles, but some of that oil gets pulled into the intake stream, especially if the filter is over-oiled during cleaning. That oil vapor coats the MAF sensor wire, creating a sticky film that attracts even more dirt. This is why you'll see MAF sensor problems more frequently in vehicles with aftermarket intake systems. Environmental factors also matter. If you drive in dusty conditions, live near construction sites, or frequently drive on dirt roads, your MAF sensor accumulates contamination faster. Urban driving in areas with high air pollution exposes the sensor to more particulates. Even bugs can be a factor. Small insects occasionally make it past the air filter and leave residue on sensor components. The good news is cleaning a MAF sensor is one of the easiest maintenance tasks you can perform. First, make sure the engine is cool and off, then unplug the sensor from the electrical connector and intake system. The sensor is typically held by 2 screws or clips and can be removed in under 2 minutes. It's important to use a cleaner made just for MAF sensors because other cleaners can damage the sensor parts. Don't use carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, or any solvent that leaves residue. Only use dedicated MAF sensor cleaner available at any auto parts store. Making sure not to touch the wires or sensing elements, carefully hold the sensor by the housing or place it down on a towel and proceed to spray with 10 to 15 controlled bursts. Never physically touch the hot wire with anything. Don't use compressed air. Don't use cotton swabs, don't scrub it. Just spray the cleaner and let the solvent do the work. The contamination will dissolve and evaporate. Before putting the sensor back in, make sure to let it dry completely, which should take about 10 minutes. Once completely dry, reinstall the sensor, reconnect the electrical connector, and start the engine. The improvement is often immediate and dramatic. If the issue was caused by a dirty mass airflow sensor, the engine's smoother performance should be noticeable almost immediately. Throttle response feels crisper. Acceleration is stronger. Idle smooths out. And over the next few tanks of fuel, you'll see your fuel economy return to normal levels. It's one of those rare maintenance tasks where the results are so obvious you can feel them instantly. So how often should you clean your MAF sensor? It is recommended to clean your mass airflow sensor every time you change your engine air filter, or at least once per year. For most drivers, that means cleaning it every 12,000 to 15,000 miles along with regular air filter replacement. If you drive in dusty conditions or have an oiled aftermarket filter, clean it more frequently, perhaps every 10,000 miles. The preventive cleaning takes 10 minutes and costs less than $10 in cleaner. Compare that to the fuel economy loss and potential sensor replacement cost if you ignore it. Here's something most people don't realize. A clean MAF sensor doesn't just improve how your car runs today, it prevents expensive problems tomorrow. When the engine computer receives inaccurate airflow data, it makes incorrect fuel delivery decisions that can damage other components over time. Running too rich foul spark plugs damages oxygen sensors and can eventually destroy your catalytic converter, a repair that costs $1,000 to $2,500. Running too lean causes higher combustion temperatures that can lead to piston damage and eventual engine failure. Additionally, neglecting MAF sensor maintenance can lead to more severe engine problems over time, including engine misfires, increased emissions, and even damage to other components. The MAF sensor is foundational to proper engine operation. When it's providing bad data, every other system in your engine is working with flawed information. Your oxygen sensors are trying to correct a problem they can't fix. Your ignition timing is optimized for the wrong conditions. Your transmission is shifting based on incorrect load calculations. One dirty sensor creates cascading problems throughout multiple systems. Now let me address a common mistake. Some people see the MAF sensor and think they can just wipe it clean with a rag or cotton swab. Don't do this. The hot wire element is incredibly delicate, often thinner than a human hair. Physical contact can bend or break the wire, permanently damaging the sensor. That's why you must use spray cleaner only and never touch the sensing elements. The cleaner is specifically formulated to dissolve contamination without leaving residue and without requiring physical contact. Another mistake is using the wrong type of cleaner. I've seen people spray WD-40, carburetor cleaner, or electrical contact cleaner on MAF sensors thinking any aerosol cleaner will work. These products leave residue, contain ingredients that damage sensitive electronics, or don't effectively dissolve the specific contamination found on MAF sensors. Spend the extra $2 and buy actual MAF sensor cleaner. It's designed specifically for this application and won't damage the sensor. Here's a pro tip. When you clean your MAF sensor, also inspect your air filter condition in the intake duct for any cracks or loose connections. To complement MAF sensor maintenance, it is also advisable to clean the airbox and intake system periodically. Removing any dirt, dust, or debris from these components helps prevent contamination of the MAF sensor. A torn air filter or crack in the intake duct allows unfiltered air directly into the engine, which dramatically accelerates MAF contamination and causes cylinder wear. If you clean your MAF sensor and symptoms don't improve, the sensor may actually be failed rather than just dirty. A check engine light, poor engine performance, stalling, and a physically damaged sensor point to a failed MAF sensor that needs replacement. But always try cleaning first because in the vast majority of cases, that solves the problem and saves you hundreds of dollars. One final point about prevention. The best way to keep your MAF sensor clean is maintaining your air filter properly. Replace your engine air filter according to the maintenance schedule, typically every 15,000 to 30,000 miles depending on driving conditions. Don't wait until the filter is completely clogged. A moderately dirty filter still flows adequate air, but a severely restricted filter can pull contaminants through the filter material itself. If you use an oiled aftermarket filter, follow the manufacturer's cleaning and oiling instructions precisely. Too much oil causes MAF contamination. If this information just saved you from an unnecessary sensor replacement or explained performance problems you've been experiencing, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling me what symptoms you've had and whether you've ever cleaned your MAF sensor. And if you want more straight talk about simple maintenance that prevents expensive repairs, subscribe to this channel. Next week I'm revealing the truth about fuel injector cleaners, which ones actually work and which are complete waste of money. You need to see the before and after testing. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, a 10-minute cleaning can transform how your engine runs and save you hundreds in wasted fuel and unnecessary repairs. Don't ignore your mass airflow sensor.